Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Esports Community Amateur League. My name is Power of a Storm, and I'm not joined by anyone tonight, unfortunately. Right now, it is just me, although I might be joined by someone later on in the night. But if not, then it's going to be me for tonight as we go ahead and get on the PC Grand Finals match between Annandale Aviators and the Allentown Liberty. Now, this is shaping up to be a very exciting match. Both these teams are currently 7-1, so they've only lost once. And well, one of these teams is going to be going down and out with that second loss. Another team is going to go ahead and take the full bag, so to speak. So yeah, it's supposed to be a very exciting match. The first map of the night is going to be Clubhouse, followed up by Chalet and Villa, if we do potentially end up going that far, which I do hope we will. Always nice to see a really competitive match, especially one at the Grand Finals. And well, I don't know too much about the tenacity of both these teams. From what I've been aware, they do tend to switch around their players, but they have so far been very talented, and they've been able to obviously get this far. So that is something to be said for the players that have been currently playing. So we hopefully should be getting into this relatively shortly. Talking a little bit about the first map. Clubhouse is a very standard map you see quite often. It is considered to be the main scrim map within NA in particular, but also all throughout Rainbow Six Siege it is typically still played a whole lot. And so because of that, we could probably expect to see a lot of the players actually play up to their strengths and actually play this map relatively well. But without further ado, we're going ahead and getting right into it, starting things off with Annandale on attack, following up with Allentown on defense. And well, now we're going to get into the bans. Allentown banning the first attacker of the match. Hopefully, nothing too surprising going to be thrown my way. And starting things off with a Habana ban is, all things considered, not too surprising. Habana is very powerful on this map. The ability to get open hatches as well as just make holes for players to shoot through inside of those reinforced walls is extremely powerful. And so her getting banned isn't too surprising, especially when it comes to attacking that basement. She's a very powerful operator. But there is one operator that tends to get banned almost every time you see this map and most other maps getting played, and that's going to be our next ban, I'm assuming. And there it is, the Thatcher getting banned out. Just one of the most strongest operators in the game and has been for absolutely ever. The ability to disable nearly every gadget, even if it will eventually come back online, it just makes him so powerful. And the ability that he has is just allow people to get the wall open with very little effort at all. Unprecedented. And so those two attackers getting banned isn't surprising. And going into our first defender ban from Allentown, I believe it is going to be Annandale banning this one. My mistake. It's going to be Mira getting banned, which is not very surprising. Mira is a very powerful operator, especially on bedroom and basement. So seeing her getting banned isn't surprising. And that Kaid getting banned as well, I'm a little bit surprised. Not because I think Kaid is a bad ban, because he's extremely powerful for keeping the hatches from getting open, and for example, basement. But the reason why I am surprised is because typically you don't see Mira and Kaid both being banned at the same time. Typically you see those droppers being switched out for each other. And because of the fact that it leaves Mira on the board, Mira, one of the most powerful operators in the game of Rainbow Six so far. And well, going into this, I am expecting Mira to be played at least a little bit coming out from these teams. Allentown starting on defense first, at least so far, not showing any Valkyrie. Again, quite surprising. The 6-pick could potentially still happen, and it does end up happening, but not over to the Valkyrie. Instead, going to go over to the Alibi, and in response, we will see the Twitch potentially being 6-picked off of. No, actually, just faking me out. Quite devious of them. Instead, going back onto the Twitch. So this is going to be our loadout for this first round, heading down to Church Arsenal, which has recently, at least in my experience, become one of the more favored sites to defend on this map, as slowly we have seen basement been phased out of the defender's lineup just because of how easy it is for attackers to be able to take control of the site. Looking at the defender lineup, we are going to be seeing both the SS operators, Mute and Smoke. Smoke for that very nice area denial and stalling potential, as well as Mute for drone denial, but also the prevention of the wall from getting open. Prevents you from having to bring someone like a Kaid, who we do see is banned, but also it doesn't make you have to bring a bandit just to keep the walls closed. You can utilize one or two of his mute jammers, and then just put the other mute jammers in doorways to try to prevent any drones from actually getting in. So two very powerful operators. And we are seeing the other two grenade defensive operators, that being Jaeger and Wamai, both very powerful operators for getting rid of grenades and taking care of them. Obviously, Wamai does move in different locations, but at the very least, them being on the board will make things more difficult for the grenades that we do see being brought out by the players on Annandale. They currently have two sets, both being brought out by Maverick and Sledge, which will make things a little bit more difficult, especially when attacking the upstairs sites, as nades from below are more and more increasingly becoming commonplace in terms of getting rid of defender utility as well as some defensive players if they get caught in a corner. But as we're also pointing out, on the defensive side, we are seeing the Alibi that was 6-picked off to currently playing on this main stairs, putting a bit of pressure onto players that might be trying to clear the site. But in the meantime, it's going to be Spree, who's also on a bit of a roam, was playing a little bit aggressively earlier, going to get the opening frag of the round and of the match by removing one of the more important players of Tag's Titan playing on that Maverick. With them being gone, getting the hatches open will be even more difficult, as now it'll be all up to Luco to utilize 2 of their 3 gadgets to get the wall open. And it does look like they are able to get kitchen open, as far as I'm aware. They're using the final one to, at the very least, get open dirt, which could allow them to potentially push in from multiple different angles. But no, it looks like kitchen is closed. This is potentially very disastrous for them, as now their only avenue to attack is either the stairs, which are pretty easy for players to go ahead and get a hold on, and coming in through dirt. Potential huge misplay already happening with the Maverick going down first, preventing at least one of the hatches from getting open. But at the very least, for the moment, Annandale are going to strike back. Blue Flame killing Spree, who was currently on the room upstairs, and now Biddy's going to get into a gunfight with, I'm not entirely sure who it was, but I believe it was Howard, as they will go ahead and pick them off. In the meantime, however, a lot more kills happening as Biddy is able to pick up Pufferfish, but Jay can prevent an even more dominant round from Annandale as they go ahead and remove the player Biddy. Down to a 3v1. They are currently trying to push into the bottom hallway, and where we're going to see Blue Flame, who did pretty good already in the round, just peeking into Moto and getting a very nice kill onto the final remaining player, playing inside of that site. Very nice work from Annandale, who, all things considered, their utility usage wasn't that great, but they were able to effectively clear out the remaining they were able to clear out the remaining roamers, and then effectively push down the stairs and push into site, getting some very important kills along the way. So right now we are going to be in a bit of a pause. Not entirely sure why it is being called, but nonetheless, it is going to mean we have a little bit of time for both these teams to kind of figure out what went wrong there. Allentown doing a good job of preventing the defenders from getting any ground, just lost it really easily to just a couple of very unfortunate kills. And well, hopefully they will be able to come back from this, as they did get the opening kill, prevented a ton of utility, and they looked really good, but in the end they just couldn't win those gunfights. And it is one of the more important things you do have to do when you are playing Siege. So at the very least, we are potentially going to see, from what I can see on my end, Charge Arsenal being played once again by Allentown. And well, their composition, at least from what I can see again, does look fairly similar. So potential for them to change it up. Obviously, we are still in a pause, and they could decide to change up their strategy, which I would personally prefer to see, as I don't like watching teams head down to the previous site that they just played. And well, if that does happen, that is unfortunately not the greatest situation, as the attacking team, they just watched them play it, they just saw them go up against it, and well, that could potentially mean that they're going to figure out their defense really easily. So it really just needs to be a fundamental shift in how the defenders defend this site, maybe shifting of utility, or alternatively just winning your gunfights. That could be as simple as it is for them to win this round. But we are going to be jumping right back into things once again. And well, we are going to see the exact same operator lineup be brought out, at least for now. The 6-pick opportunity is still on the board, but it looks like as well the players on Annandale are going to stick with their current roster lineup. And there's a 6-pick I was mentioning. Rick's going to switch over to the Valkyrie that I talked so highly of and wasn't brought out in the first round. And well, I think this is a very good choice. A lot of the issues seem to be that the roamers in particular didn't have a whole lot of intel as to where the defenders were and where they were rotating to, and that caused them to take very unadvantageous gunfights, particularly on that top floor, which allowed for a very quick rotation from Annandale, and they were able to make their way into this site and actually just kill the final remaining players that were left to challenge them as the anchors. So now, with that operator being on the board, we will have to see Annandale potentially play a little bit more passively and utilize that drone work, or just utilize their eyes to try to maybe take out the actual cameras that could be placed anywhere in the map. Although, based upon what I currently see, I'm not entirely sure if Rix is going to be placing them in too many crazy places. It looks like they're, for the most part, sticking to placing them downstairs, although they currently are inside of bar getting that hatch. So potentially is there for them to put them in a bunch of different places, but they are going to need to work quickly, as now the attackers are going to start making their way in, and well, they're checking for runouts this time. Very smart work from them. As we saw in the previous round, Spree did decide to play a little bit more aggressively than they maybe should have, and well, they didn't really net anything for it. Nothing didn't cost them either, and it doesn't look like they're going to try once again. So now the round getting underway proper. Players are going to start to try to make their way into the actual building, swing, and well, Spree's open things up once again by getting another very aggressive kill. This time, however, onto the player playing Buck, Biddy, who actually did change up their loadout, so perhaps I was mistaken saying they're going to be sticking with what they did, but in any case, that Buck is going to be of no use to play potential vertical, because now they are dead. A very aggressive play from Spree that did end up working in their favor, so maybe it was my bad to criticize them for their play previously. But it doesn't look like they are going to try to go for any more. They are going to go ahead and back up. Very smart play, in my opinion, as now with a minute off the board, the man count is still firmly in favor of Allentown. But it is worth pointing out that that was the situation last round, and Annandale were still able to take the round. So we're going to have to see if they are able to come back from this once again, or if this time Allentown have their number. At least for the moment, not much seems to be happening as well. It doesn't really sound like anything is happening. Although we do see someone has potentially pushed up really aggressively into dirt. Not entirely sure who that is, but it looks like it's Blue Flame, who is currently sitting right on the dirt door. No one watching them, as in they have the potential to do something big, but it does look like Tags is potentially getting into a fight with, I believe it's Spree, who's currently inside, or someone looked like they may have been inside of the garage itself. Not entirely sure who, but at the very least they are causing a bit of trouble for the attackers, who actually left the diffuser outside. They're going to have to go and pick that up, at least for the moment. And it looks like Spree, who was the one inside of the garage, has since rotated all the way down into the site itself. Blue still playing on this dirt door, trying to maybe peek someone who might be rotating in from Blue. At least for the moment, no one seems to be doing so, but Jay is going to get another kill, this time onto Luco, playing aggressive on that basement doorway, is going to just absolutely tear through Luco, removing the twitch, and with that, well, it's down to a 3v5. Once again, Annandale still playing this very slowly, not giving away any position at all, and trying not to make any noise, but it does look like that at least a few of the players in Allentown suspect that there might be someone inside of dirt, as they seem to be just holding angles, waiting for Annandale to make a move. Very smart play from Allentown coming out here, but Blue finally pushes in, and Howard peeks at the wrong time, and with that, it's going to be Pufferfish up to get that kill, and he will end up killing Blue Flame. In the process, the trade will occur, leaving it all down to just a few remaining players. Tags pushing down from the main stairs will kill Jay, but there's only 10 seconds left. Rick swings out and kills Tags, leaving it down to just a 2v1. Nova, playing inside of Blue, will get some damage onto Rick, but he's got to find the kill. He doesn't end up finding it, and now he's got to find Spree, who ends up rotating over all the way upstairs. It doesn't look like Nova has a diffuser, and he doesn't, and Allentown, with a very defensive style, are able to win out that round despite going the same side they did previously. And all in all, amazing work from Spree, that final remaining player, to open up the round and end it in, all things considered, a pretty passive style. Very nice work from them, and well, with that, they're able to secure that basement site, and now they can choose to go to any site of their choosing, and they're going to decide to go to CCTV and Cache, where we're going to potentially see a bit of a different look from them, as for at least for the moment, we're seeing a couple of operators we haven't seen so far, that being Castle, Bandit, and Thunderbird. The potential for a 6-pick is obviously there, and it looks like we are going to see the Castle be 6-picked onto Vigil, meaning that a more heavy roam, oh no, sorry, excuse made my mistake. It looks like Goyo is going to be on the table. So swapping a defensive operator for another defensive operator. Goyo being brought on the board means that they're going to be definitely playing a lot more passively. No more crazy roams, I'm assuming, coming out from Spree, although still playing on that Jaeger. The potential is still there for them to get those crazy roams on the board to potentially open things up for their team once again. But a more defensive style would fit the Thunderbird they are bringing to the table, as Thunderbird, a very powerful operator in terms of being able to heal her teammates with those Kona stations, so them being on the board could potentially mean that a more defensive play style from all the players is going to be in order, which will complement very well, like I mentioned. With the Goy, those shields they are bringing out are very, very powerful. The area denial they bring isn't the greatest, but it does mean that they will have the ability to play more aggressive angles. They now have 3 shields on the board, as oh no, excuse me, they only have the 2 from the Goyo, as I'm just realized they didn't bring a smoke out. A bit of an interesting choice not bringing a smoke, as after all he is one of the more powerful operators, but at least in my experience I have seen that smoke isn't necessarily the greatest on this site, but I still think he is an important operator to bring in pretty much every site. So I'll have to see if this ends up working out for them. They so far haven't gotten a whole lot of value out of the smoke grenades themselves. I haven't seen one been thrown, but at the very least the person playing the smoke was able to get a very nice shotgun kill in the previous round to kind of open things up for their team towards the end of the round. And well, now we're going to see Annandale make their way over to that reinforced wall, trying to get it open, as we already hear Nova utilize their gadget to try and get spin this garage wall, and he does so very easily, as now they have a very nice sideway into basement. This is all standard setup when it comes to players actually defending, and we see Tags doing a very amazing job of trying to get that wall open, utilizing the proficiency on this operator, the Maverick. Very powerful in terms of what he does. Unfortunately, seems to have messed up somewhere, and they're just going to have Nova throw their last gadget onto the wall, which will allow them to get it open. Although only a vaultable hole, not exactly the great situation for them, but potentially the push won't come from that door itself. It'll come from a different direction, as we currently see Luco rotating in from the base, or excuse me, from the other bedroom and gym area to try to make their way over into construction, potentially pressure out some of the remaining players. Although, to open things up, it's going to be Howard the Duck getting the first kill onto Luco, who was, like I mentioned, pushing into construction. Them getting removed is potentially huge, but now it's Blue playing inside of construction, will get killed by Spree, who was able to flank behind them, bringing things once again to a 5v3. This last time in this situation, it did go down to a 1v1, but it's going to be tough to happen. Nova playing aggressively in garage, trying to find that angle onto the player. 3 people trying to remove the Pufferfish boy, playing on the Wamai, playing up on those rafters. Finally, Nova will get the angle and will be able to remove them, but time has been stalled out. A minute 15 left as they start taking these rafters. Damage might have already been done. Rix playing on that Thunderbird will get a kill onto Nova, bringing things down to a 2v4. Biddy gonna go ahead and go on their drone to try to get a little bit more intel or take out a couple of gadgets on the side of Allentown, but Tags is gonna have to keep them distracted in the meantime. It's actually Biddy gonna go and get off of their drone and just try to peek into the window and see if they can maybe do a bit of damage, but at least for the moment, no one's really pushing in here. But Tags gets a perfect angle on the Spree and is able to get revenge for the previous round, removing their head and bringing things to 2v3 as Tags pushes into the map, doesn't see Howard playing on the stairs and gets their head taken off in the process, and a C4 from Jay being tossed through a tiny little hole. Amazing work from them to have that lineup just ready-handed. Will end up removing the final player on the side of the attack, and with that, Allentown, they take the lead back and for the first time in this map, as they've won 2 in a row, and now they're going to go ahead and head over to gym and bedroom, where we haven't seen the defense so far, but I have seen quite a large number of teams prefer to go this site over actually going to CCTV and cash as of late. Now, obviously, that isn't true for Allentown, but they will still go there as their tertiary site, so we're going to get to see how they defend it. And it looks like how they defend it is very similar to how we have seen them defend previous rounds, but they do seem to be switching out their roles just a little bit. We still see Pufferfish Boy playing the Wamai, but this time it's going to be Rix playing on the Jaeger, with Malusi being taken up by Spree. So the reign of terror on the Jaeger is over for now. We might see them play it later on, but they're going to be playing that area denial operator and potential intel gather in the Malusi. Long far is Malusi being by far the best operator in the game, at least in terms of how powerful her gadget was, but she is still a very good operator. Her gun is still very good, and while her gadget isn't as good as it used to be, it's still useful, and that's why we see them being brought out by Spree, at least in this sense. It is also worth pointing out that Castle is being played this time. No 6-pick coming out from them. As with that, they're going to be able to keep the windows shut for at least a little bit longer than they would potentially otherwise, or also just potentially make it more difficult for Allentown to push in if they do decide to put them in doorways, or excuse me, not Allentown, Annandale, to push in through doorways or windows or any other place they might decide to put it. So they are currently holding one in their pocket, as they did recently get that buff where they did get an extra one, but at least for the moment, they're not utilizing. I'll just say that I does end up utilizing it, and we almost see the heads of Tags and Biddy getting killed there, as Tags almost took off his teammate's head, but then subsequently Tags and Biddy take a ton of damage. Not sure from who. I believe it was Spree, however, as Biddy takes even more. Nova, though, gets the first kill of this round for Annandale and is able to kill Spree, their reign of terror fully being squashed as they get killed on the roam. And with that, well, a lot of pressure being put onto Cash, where we do see an extended roam being put out by Allentown, but so far, Annandale, they're firing back in full force. Luco is going to be able to get the kill onto Rix, making things go all the way down to a 5v3. The total reverse situation that we saw last round and the round previously for Allentown, but Howard on the flank doesn't see the Ash and tries to flick, but he misses, and Luco, a double kill in this round, will kill Howard. And now with it down to a 5v2 and only a minute off the time bank, things look dire for Pufferfish Boy and Jay, as we see Nova peeking from the window and just remove the head of Pufferfish Boy. Now it's all down to Jay, playing out in the Logi, trying to see if they can maybe stay alive, but the shots are coming their way. They got to try to find 5 to win this round. They do get 1, but Tags is there to finish them off. Great work there at the end from Jay to maybe try to secure that, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be, and we see a very dominant win there for the attackers, absolutely dismantling the defense of Allentown with some very fast and aggressive kills. And that round seemed like it was over before it even began, and well, Annandale are able to tie it up once again. This time, however, Allentown, they're going to be heading back down to basement, where so far they've had a pretty middling results. They lost the first round, but they're able to come back and win the second one, although it was still fairly close. So this could potentially go either way, but it does look like we are going to be seeing a very similar operator lineup to the second round. But Malusi is once again being brought out by Spree. This time, however, no one else is going to be playing the Jaeger, as Riggs is going to be fully sticking on the Valkyrie. And well, looks like once again we are seeing Annandale like to change up what operator they're bringing. We have seen them play a variety of operators. They don't seem to really be sticking with a couple of them, but all the operators they are bringing are ones I'm not too surprised to see. They're all very powerful in their own right. But it is worth pointing out, they did bring a Zero, who I personally think is a really good operator, especially in terms of flank watch, which has been an issue for Annandale in the past, but also as well, just a little bit of intel besides just simply providing them with flank watch that does exist via the use of their gadget. I do believe that Zero is an underappreciated operator. I do think his gun is really good as well, which is another point going in his favor. But seeing Biddy bring it out here, and it'll be interesting to see if they are able to get any value out of it, or if unfortunately they're going to fall victim to potentially another very quick spawn peek by Spree, who, at least for the moment, we did see, or we're seeing peeking out through the freezer, trying to maybe pick off anyone who might be rotating around this little barn. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's happening, although they do hear some noise, people shooting the cameras outside. Unfortunately, no kills happening there. Oh, and as I say that, Nova is able to find the head of Spree, remove them from the board, and suffer nothing of their own. It seems like the players at Annandale, they are getting wary of Spree's aggressive tendencies, as we see them remove them from the board and bring things to a 5v4. That being said, we have seen 5v4s who come back for the team that is down a player, so they aren't out of it just yet. But Allentown certainly do have a tower to climb, as Annandale, my mistake, I'm mispronouncing all their names here, have currently taken control of the first floor for the most part, and they're trying to get some vertical play done inside of, well, the hallway, and right above them, trying to see if they may pick off anyone. Unfortunately for the moment, no one on the side of Allentown is peeking their head. They're all playing very passively, similar to how we saw them playing last round. The Valkyrie camera on the floor will give intel to Rex, who gets a double kill off of that. 2 back-to-back headshots. The MBX coming in flawlessly for them as well. Now the momentum is squarely turned in favor of Allentown, although still plenty of time left for Annandale to potentially bring this one back, as it's still 3 players left remaining and 1:30 left in the time bank. A lot of pressure being put onto Dirt as they try to push in here, but there's Malusi Wub on the floor. Potential for disaster to happen if the position gets revealed, and Biddy is just going to sit here holding an angle. Doesn't want to peek too aggressively, doesn't want to give away too much positioning, as we currently see Nova playing above the hatch that unfortunately doesn't look like they were able to get open. But having utilized 2 of their gadgets to get it open is very devastating for them, and well, it seems to be costing them in the long run, as they haven't been able to get that hatch open hardly at all. And well, at least for the moment, we are trying to see Pufferfish Boy maybe shoot back from below, play counter vertical through the floor, but it hasn't found any dice so far, as Nova is still trying to peek through them, and Tag also still in that hallway trying to peek them. But finally, Pufferfish Boy strikes gold and is able to remove the head of Nova, but the intel is giving away. But Tags, not want to be left out, is able to kill an overzealous Pufferfish Boy and is able to keep things within 1 man count. 40 seconds left, and now Biddy is pushing in a little aggressively into Dirt, and no one seems to be there to watch him. Gonna fire that gadget up there, trying to get a little bit more intel as Tags rotates down the main stairs, trying to see if they can maybe find anyone. They're going to throw their last smoke grenade and maybe try to give them a bit of room to work with as they try to push in. Jay playing inside of blue is going to throw a smoke grenade to try to block off anyone pushing in as Biddy goes ahead and gets Howard. They push in aggressively and take a bit of damage in return, but the shotgun coming up from Jay will pick off one of them, and now it's all done to Tag's Titan, who's going to try to plant the diffuser with 10 seconds left. We're going to see Jay throw a smoke grenade. The plant isn't stuck. Tag gets a headshot onto Jay. Oh, but Rix is there in the hallway to finish things off with a very nice 3K in this round and securing this round once again for the defenders, who are currently 2-1 on this bomb site, showing that first round just a bit of a fluke from them. Very nice work from Allentown. As now we head to the final round of this half. The potential for a 4-2 half from Allentown is there, and they're going to have to win it on CCTV and Cash, where they did win the first time they went here. But the question now is, will Annandale be able to win this round out once again now that they have faced off against the defense from Allentown? And well, we did see the previous round a very aggressive kill coming out from Spree that did result in them unfortunately being down in man count, them being Annandale. We have seen in the recent rounds that Annandale have wisened up to the actual players on this side, or particularly Spree, playing very aggressively and peaking very aggressive angles at the start of the round, and they've been able to shut down Spree the past 2 rounds. So if they're able to do so again, if Spree continues to play aggressively, that could potentially be huge for the attack, and it'll open things up for them to once again push in here. But similar to last round, you can't count them out until things are done and dusted. So even with Spree going down, potential still there for Allentown to keep things going as defense on this site. There's a reason why it was the favorited site for so long. It's because it's a very, very good site. And we're going to see Howard already taking a little bit of damage, I'm assuming from Rix, who's trying to make some head holes inside of the wall that you typically see be opened up by a shotgun. That allows people to just see into the actual rafters proper when they are sitting on rafters. And it's one of the reasons why Raptors is so powerful, is because of it. Having control of it gives you so much leeway into the site. It allows you to push in so easily, and so having there not be a rotate there, instead just head holes, make things more difficult for the attacker if they do eventually end up taking rafters, because a rafters is always going to get taken. There's hardly any time where you see rafters being held by the defenders because of how much pressure we see being put onto it. And well, open things up, we're going to see once again the wall trying to get opened up by the Maverick, who so far is doing a good job, but the Bandit battery is still there, making things a little bit difficult. We currently see Spree playing down on bottom garage, trying to see if they can maybe pick off Nova, but once again, Nova just has Spree's number, removing the head of Spree, and once again putting the man advantage squarely in favor of Annandale. Like I said, this isn't the end of things. They're still going to have to play this really well, and we're already seeing Tags trying to get open this wall, things already going in their favor. As now with the wall almost being opened up, we're hopefully going to see more things happening. And as I say that, Blue Flame going to get a very nice nade kill from below onto Howard the Duck, removing another player, as well as Blue Flame gets the kill onto Rix, just absolutely fragging out, removing all the players inside of Allentown. It seems like this round is potentially already in the pocket for Annandale, as they still have all 5 players, and they do a ton of damage onto Jay by blowing up the Goyo shield. Now, Jay forced to rotate all the way over to the red stairs, and Pufferfish Boy is left isolated out on the rafters. Stuns being shot at by Pufferfish Boy. Is going to have to win this gunfight while being stunned, and the drone gets found out, and Luco swings it, knowing Jay is low, and now it's all to Pufferfish Boy, who's stuck out on rafters. They fire some shots, but they have to reload, and we see them jump outside, but it's Blue Flame from below to actually steal the kill at the very end there from his teammates. And with that, a flawless round is on the board for Annandale, as they are able to tie up the half 3-3. Very nice work, especially as they were attacking on a typically defender-sided map. And with that, sides are going to be switched. Annandale now going to be on the defense and Allentown on the attack. We're going to see how well they are able to handle things. Annandale look to start things out on the site, CCTV and Cash. A bit of a far cry from what we saw on Allentown's defense, where they chose to start out going down to basement. Instead, the old reliable, as I'm going to now call it, is being brought out in CCTV and Cash, and we are seeing some very similar operators come out from Annandale that we saw from Allentown, Malusi and Smoke and Wamai all being brought, but 2 operators we haven't seen so far in the Oryx and Aruni. Both those operators are not brought as often. Oryx in particular isn't brought very often at all, but due to the recent nerfs to the Roni, we've seen less and less of Roni being brought, but her gadget is still really good, and that Roni, if you are able to control that recoil and deal with the loss of the magazine, you can still do a ton of good work with it. So her being brought is surprising, especially that recently reworked bulletproof camera does provide a ton of utility on the board of the defenders. But the Oryx is a strictly roam operator, which you typically see Vigil. Oh, I'm very sorry about that. You typically see Vigil being brought in place of a very heavily roam-centric operator. And, well, instead of Oryx being brought out, that will allow them to potentially play a little bit more vertical with those hops through through any open hatches. But I'm not entirely sure if they will be very useful aside from that with their ability to create sort of rotate to potentially shut down any shield operators. Well, instead of Allentown, there aren't any shield operators. Instead, they have operators that are going to be able to stop that roam, which I was surprised we didn't see come up from Annandale, but it turns out they didn't really need it. In the Nomad, as well as even more roam prevention coming out from the Jackal. Anti-roam is the name of the game, and they are predicting that Oryx is going to be, or at the very least, some very heavy roam is going to be brought out on the side of Annandale. As well, 2 anti-roam operators. It's quite a lot to bring out. Usually don't see both Nomad and Jackal being brought. But better safe than sorry is always the name of the game, and they do have the same 2 operators that we saw trying to get the wall open as previously, with Pufferfish Boy and Howard the Duck both playing on Maverick and Ace respectively. But meantime, Rick's taking quite a bit of damage. Not entirely sure from where, but it will mean that they have to play things a little bit more passively when going after potential roamers that are going to be on board for the players on Annandale. But they are going to, in the meantime, at the very least, try to get in from the Alaji hatch and then make their way over into construction to pressure players that are playing inside of cash. And we once again see the Wamai playing on the rafters, one of the most common spots in the game. If you think of rafters, you think of Wamai, just the ability to get those frisbees and throw them onto whichever wall, or not wall, excuse me, but guardrail on the rafters that he wants, potentially just makes the nade play for the attackers really difficult, especially if we do see Jaeger ADSs put there as well. Unfortunately, no there during this round, but the potential is always there in future rounds. We do see CCTV and cash multiple times. Rix, in the meantime, inside of Logi, putting a little bit of pressure on to the Malusi of Biddy, trying to see if they can maybe pick off and get a kill, but instead it's Biddy take the head off of Spree and actually rotate very heavily into Logi, but the tag team of Tags Titan is there to come in from behind and kill Rix. Nova as well get to kill on Rafters, removing Jay from the board, and well, now things are down to a 5v2. Annandale so far been able to bring things back, and Blue Flame with a very aggressive peek out onto Howard the Duck is able to get the headshot kill onto him. And now, well, we're seeing a potential another flawless round come out here from Annandale. This would be a very dominant performance there, as now Pufferfish Boy has gone ahead and rotated all the way back. Doesn't look like he knows where many people are, at least the players on Annandale don't, but after unfortunately some shots are missed, is going to be Pufferfish Boy trying to get a couple of kills. Blue Flame does end up stealing it, however, after a down does occur, and now the pistol is out. Damage is done onto the players playing aggressively. They are trying to make sure they don't get pushed. They go ahead and back all the way up into their previous spawn, as now the players of Annandale, they don't care anymore. They're playing aggressively. They're playing outside. They're just trying to take advantage of the players on the side, or the final remaining player in Allentown, just playing a little bit dirty, honestly. 10 seconds left, we're probably going to see a very aggressive push coming out here from the remaining players on Annandale to try to maybe secure this kill at the end of the round. And well, this looks like it's going to happen. Looks like they're just going to wait things out, as we're going to see the final player, Pufferfish Boy, sitting back in their spawn. And with that, well, that's going to be another round. Not a flawless round, mind you, but almost there, as it was technically a Team K that did actually get the kill onto one of the players on Annandale. But at the very least, that is going to be that round going in favor of Annandale. A very dominant round on their defense to start things out. And well, now they're going to have to head down to Church Arsenal, where we are once again seeing a very similar operator lineup to what we saw when we saw Allentown defending downstairs. Valkyrie being brought out, as well as Jaeger, and then the Malusi being brought. Oryx being brought once again, as we didn't see Oryx not work necessarily, but Bandit being brought, which is a very interesting choice. Typically, you don't see Bandit being brought down on Church Arsenal. If anything, you see them being brought on CCTV and Cash, as they are very useful for keeping that CCTV wall closed. But not entirely sure why they're bringing him here. You could potentially see him being used on the wall into the bar, but that's not exactly the best use of him. Typically, you just put a mute there. That's a bit more utility, so to speak. But any reason, hopefully they will be able to get their fair use out of the Bandit as they head into this round with a very dominant win behind them. It's now up to Allentown to maybe bring this one back, and well, they're going to change their opera just a little bit now. We see Spree playing on the Jackal as well as Rix. This time, they've gone ahead and gone over to the IQ in anticipation of that Valkyrie that we see Tags Titan currently playing. Just allows them to get rid of those Valkyrie cameras very easily, almost nothing that anyone can do about them. But we're pointing out Howard the Duck is now also going to be playing on the Thermite, which I, for one, think is a way better option to bring rather than bringing out, the Ace that we saw being brought out by Annandale, because the Ace, essentially you get the same value of you're able to get open the dirt wall, but you're also able to get open a hatch if you utilize your gadget properly. But when it comes to Thermite, you're able to more easily secure without anything being messed up. You don't have to throw two of them and then maybe one of them blows another one up. There's a lot of issues that can happen if you play poorly. So Thermite just makes more sense, at least in my opinion. Also, the smokes he does bring out are very powerful. But now, Spree, utilize that Jackal charge to its fullest potential. There are two players inside of Kitchen, the Jaeger and the Oryx. And the Jaeger just runs into the gun of Spree, who's able to get the first kill of this round, getting a revenge onto all those times Nova removed their head. And with another scan, they're going to now identify Valkyrie. But as long as they know, the Oryx is currently playing inside of the Kitchen. Very interesting. I wonder if Oryx is going to be able to get any value as they're currently sitting there and Spree goes ahead and pushes down the floor itself. But now it's Pufferfish Boy. It's their turn to walk in. Blue Flame is going to have the intel from the beeper and it is going to give it away. And Pufferfish Boy does end up going down to the gun of Blue Flame. But Rix is there right above them to just go ahead and pick them off. And with that, man count is back in, or only at one. As a difference, with Annandale still treading behind them with only 3 players and Allentown still having 4. Beeper's still up. No one's shot it yet. Not entirely sure why. They can't see it and shoot it, but at least for the moment, vertical play is seeming to be the main play of the game. But Biddy is coming from that flank, is going to be able to take out Howard the Duck, as well as Tags Titan getting Spree as well. Not entirely sure where that was, but they will get another kill. And with that, man advantage is now in favor of Allentown firmly. As well, things are now looking a little bit grim for them, and Tags Titan getting killed into Rix means all down to Jay, the Sledge, as the final remaining player is trying to maybe get up the main stairs and get the player that was causing so much trouble on the flank, and they are able to get Luco, who was actually playing back in Moto, excuse me. So with that being done, they will be bringing things to a 2v1, but they still have to get 2, and while Tags Titan is very low, they still got to worry about Biddy, who's playing on the flank and shooting from above. And with a toe shot, Biddy is able to secure the round after flanking all the way extremely heavily throughout the entire round and doing a ton of work in this round to secure it. All in all, I'm quite impressed with that defense from Annandale. They were able to make it work very well, getting those kills and actually disrupting Allentown to such a degree that even though Allentown did get a kill pretty early on onto the Jaeger, the remaining roamers on the side of Annandale were just too much for Allentown to handle. They didn't do a full clear. That's the power droning right there. You got to check your corners. You got to drone really heavily. You can't just rely on players like Jackal because you might miss something. And it turns out that's exactly what happened there as well. Unfortunately, Oryx was able to get a kill, and so was Biddy playing on Malusi. So a whole lot of damage being done by the roamers, and it costed them very heavily. But with that, 2 rounds in a row on this defense have gone to Annandale, and well, now they're going to have to head to the tertiary side. Jim and Bedra being brought out, which was a very dominant win for Annandale when they were attacking it. Well, now they're defending it. So we're going to have to see if Allentown are able to get it when it stopped the momentum of Annandale, or if this is where Allentown is this is where Annandale takes things to match point and puts Allentown in a very precarious situation. And so far, it does look like we are going to see another extended setup that we see so often coming out from players that are playing in this site. Setting up inside of cache and potentially also reinforcing that wall in CCTV is one of the most common things that you see players doing when it comes to defending this site. As well, we do see a castle being brought out on the side of Annandale by Tags Titan, which will allow them to, similar to what Allentown did to them on the previous half, keep the hatches from getting, or not hatches, keep the windows from getting open or access, and just overall make things more difficult and slow things down for the attackers. But overall, that roam game I'm really concerned about. Novo, once again, a very powerful full roamer we've seen the previous rounds. Biddy as well, doing a ton of work in the previous round, really bolstering their KD up. And same thing with Blue Flame, but it's none of those people that end up getting killed first. It's actually Luco, who seemingly was caught out of position inside of CCTV. And with that, well, already things now going in favor of Allentown this time around. Seems like this site just isn't in the cards for the defenders, but still plenty of time for them to potentially get something done. That castle being almost having zero value against the very powerful sledge. You're able to just walk up to it and boop, all the sledges are gone, or all the, not all the sledges, excuse me, all of the actual castle panels are totally gone. And while castle caught in a bad position, they will be able to rotate all the way over to bathroom. Very lucky they were able to get that far, but still playing outside on these windows, putting a lot of pressure onto the players. It's going to be the roamers have to save these things here. But now the drone work coming out from Allentown. I love to see his adaptation. They're droning really heavily. They've droned out pretty much all the players that have been roaming really heavily on the side of Allentown, but their drone economy isn't the greatest. They have lost quite a bit of drones, and they're only down to about 4 remaining. And Blue Flame taking full advantage of that roam potential. Playing inside of construction, gets the opening kill for his team by killing Pufferfish. Boy, that sledge gone. No more nades for them. And, well, now things are looking potentially dire as well. That kill going in their way is potentially huge for it. And as we now see Biddy trying to peek and get aggressive, it's Spree who's playing construction and able to punish Biddy, who wasn't paying attention to where they were peeking. Blue Flame misses all their shots, very uncharacteristic, but unfortunately Rix is able to catch them off, is able to secure that kill, and now it's Spree's turn to pop off, peeking into sight and killing tags Titan, leaving it all down to the roaming Nova, currently inside of Bar, trying to rotate up the main stairs to maybe stop something from happening, potentially get a 4K and win this round. It's going to be difficult, but eventually still there to the diffuser, going down all the way. They're on the stairs. Doesn't look like anyone knows where they are, at least for the moment, and he does hear a couple of noises to his left. He's going to go ahead and get the kill onto Spree, Spree, excuse me, who peeks them, but Howard's right there to the left and is able to secure the player, finally ending this round, and the attacker is able to stop the flow of blood coming out from the defenders. They secure this one and keep the series alive for the moment as well. Now, they're only 1 round away from potentially being tied with Annandale once again. So far, a series has been decently close, all things considered, even though we did just see Annandale go on a pretty heavy tear. With Allentown now getting that win, the potential for momentum is certainly in the cards. We head into this next round. CCTV Cash is on the board once again for Annandale, and this was a pretty dominant, one of the most dominant wins we've had so far on this map when they were defending it. And they did it with a very similar composition, although this time we are not seeing the Oryx being brought out here. Instead, we are seeing a Valkyrie being brought instead. I could have sworn there was a Valkyrie in the previous round, although unfortunately my memory seems to ail me. So the very least, this is a composition we're going to be seeing filled operators that we all know and love. And well, now it's going to be up to the remaining roamers to once again put in a ton of work for Annandale and potentially try to win this one out. No Bandit also being brought out here. Again, still not sure why Bandit was brought on basement when a sick pick was available, so it certainly wasn't a misclick. They decided to just run with it. It ended up working out for them. They did win the round, so maybe I shouldn't criticize them too much, but still just a very interesting choice, at least in my opinion. Is well, we're going ahead and seeing, at least in this round, the players on this of Annandale doing a very similar setup when it comes to them actually defending this round, excuse me. And now with this round getting underway, we are seeing Allentown. They are going to be, there's been an echo on my end, I apologize. We're going to see them, or at least for the moment, try to potentially make their way in, as they are running a very similar attacking they are running a very similar set of attackers to what they ran last round. So with that round being, I'm very sorry. I'm getting caught up in my own words here. All right, well, reset. Spree taking a lot of damage at the beginning of the round. It will mean that things are now looking a bit more difficult for them, as things, well, they're trying to start, getting things underway here. I'm trying to keep myself together as I'm asking here, but at least for the moment, is 45 seconds off the round. Not a whole lot has happened, although we do see Luco playing a very defensive and held back position set of rafters. Very easy for players to swing off of him potentially from the garage doors, and that might cost them in the future as well. We're seeing Allentown once again doing a lot of droning. That potentially saved them in the previous round with how much droning they did, and hopefully the drone combo would be a little bit better. But at least in the meantime, Blue Flame's going to open things up by killing Jay and removing them from the board, and Luco going to follow up by killing Pufferfish Boy. 2 kills going in favor of Annandale. The potential for the comeback of Allentown is slowly dwindling as we see 2 players on the side of Allentown already going down, and well, Jay going down as well. Pretty important. They are currently tied for top frag. And well, now it's going to be up to players like Rix and Spree to step things up. Howard still playing outside, holding a very tight angle, trying to maybe see if they can pick off the Wamai, who might get a little bit aggressive, while the remaining players on Allentown are pushing in from construction, putting a lot of pressure on this door. We do end up seeing someone bust open the hatch from right below them, and well, it will spook them just a little bit, but for the moment they will play things slow still. But Luco will get another kill, killing Howard the Duck, and with that, it's going to mean that things are now looking even more in favor of Annandale. But Luco is able to, or Spree, excuse me, is able to go down from a kill on to Luco, and now Spree taking a bit of damage will end up getting Blue Flame, bringing things down to a 3v2. A very winnable situation for them. Now they only need to get one more kill to tie things up, but Spree is still very low HP, and we are now seeing the smoke grenades come out, and Tags running outside from the lobby is going to be able to get Spree, and now it's all up to Rix, who does push in and get Biddy, but they're going to have to get 2 more. The Wub giving away their position as we see Nova being a little slithery snake on the floor, trying to maybe pick off someone with a red ping, giving away their location, but Rix has already rotated all the way into the site proper. Another red ping will give away their location to Tags, who is able to secure the frag onto them, winning this round out completely for their team. And with that, well, match point is now on the cards for Annandale as they are able to stop any potential from a momentum comeback from Allentown. The potential still for Allentown to win this one out. All they need to do is win 2 rounds, which is very doable, but considering how dominant Annandale have looked, especially on a site like Church, things not looking the greatest all around. And well, now with them heading back down to that site, we are going to see an operator that we haven't seen recently in the Mozzie. And well, with Mozzie being brought out, it is certainly looking like it's going to be another heavy roam coming out from the defenders, but they are bringing another defensive operator that we saw call up from Allentown in Thunderbird, who doesn't really work too well as a roam operator unless you do set up their Kona stations in aggressive positions. That can potentially work very well for them, but at least for the moment, that hasn't seemed to work too well when it comes to them actually holding the site, or for them actually playing aggressively. Most players don't decide to do that with the Kona station, so because of that, it does mean that things are looking a little bit more difficult for them in this coming up round. And well, now with them going ahead and going down to basement, they're sticking with this competitional lineup. No 6-picks being brought on here. I'm not entirely sure about it, but they did win the previous round and they bought a bandit out, and I wasn't sure about that either, so I can't exactly fault them for it. But really, we should be looking at Allentown. It's them who's going to have to get things going here, and well, they're not bringing out a they are bringing out Thermite, but they're not bringing out a Maverick this time. So potential for them to get open multiple hatches is pretty much gone if they do want to get open dirt, which a lot of teams do like to just have as just an option in their back pocket to potentially have someone to push in from, but you don't typically see only one Thermite or only one Hard Breach being brought out and them not getting both of the sites open. So at the very least, for the moment, we are going to have them trying to make their way into the site proper by just into the map proper, excuse me, by just putting pressure onto the top floor and doing a bottom down clear. As we see Rick currently upstairs trying to clear out any roamers, but for the moment, Annandale, they seem to be pretty heavily playing inside of the site itself. No one's really on the roam. There might be someone playing a little bit aggressively onto the closet stairs, the new stairs that, well, call them new, but not exactly new anymore. Even still, it doesn't know that even is the case. They're pretty much all in sight for the most part. A very far cry from what we've seen in the previous round. They've been super roam heavy. Instead, they decided just changing it up almost entirely. We are going to see the hatch start to get open. This is going to be the hatch inside the stock room, right above blue, getting opened up. Start things out, and they didn't reinforce the other wall into dirt. It looks like that's actually part of the plan. They don't want to do that. They want to potentially have players open it up and then push in there and fall into the trap of the mute, playing very far back. So still a bit of aggressive plays coming out here, but so far it doesn't look Allentown have bothered touching dirt at all. Still, Vertical is now going to be getting underway from the remaining players on Allentown. Allentown as they try to get a bit of damage through the wall onto Biddy, and they do end up doing so, but Biddy doesn't get out with their life. They're going to be able to go back to those Kona stations they have, potentially will live to fight another day, I was going to say, but they're going to live to fight now as they throw a C4 up and are able to remove Jay from the board. No more vertical play coming out from the sledge, or at least no more holes going to be able to be made, and well, no nades going to be thrown down either. Very nice kill, working in tandem with that Valkyrie, just have the perfect right amount of intel to get that kill, and it worked out very well for them. Luco taking a bit of damage as well, but Spree getting shot from below is going to take even more damage. An impact nade does come out to try and maybe see if they can finish off Spree, who was tagged quite heavily, but won't be the impact nade that does it. It'll be Blue Flame, who is able to peek out into the hallway and kill Spree. A C4 is thrown at the exact wrong time, and Pufferfish Boy is able to get Blue, along with Rix getting Biddy with a nice headshot. Rix pushing into sight heavily is going to get 2. And with that, well, it's down to a 3v2, but Tags is there to get the revenge onto Rix. Howard firing through the wall, trying to see if he can find the head of Tags and Nova, but Pufferfish does end up finding Nova in the meantime. Down to Tags, Titan playing right behind this box, trying to see if they can maybe stop the plan from going down, at least for the moment. Howard or Pufferfish hasn't started planting, but Howard does now start planting right behind that chair. Tags does hear it, but they don't know where it is. They're going to have to try to get a pre-fire through the wall. They don't get it, and they throw an impact nade to try and maybe get a rotate going, but it's just a little fake. They instead to rotate all the way into Arsenal, trying to be able to get into this hallway. They see the player, but they aren't able to hit the shots in time. They have to reload and rotate to a different side. There are 2 players that worry about. The diffuser is down, and they're playing really passively, but Pufferfish Boy goes down. Tags time with a very nice flick, bringing things down to a 1v1. Howard knows where they are, however, and now they only tag a little bit of damage. They've given away their position. Howard's going to rotate over, but here's the running. Why are you sprinting? Why are you sprinting in the game? You're in a 1v1 and you're sprinting. The timer is going to be able to be, or the diffuser is going to be able to be diffused. And with that, a clutch coming out from Annandale will secure this map in a 7-4. Good round, or good map, excuse me, both these teams, and that's only the first one of this series as well. There's at least one more on Chalet before we end things off, but we are going to real quick go to just a quick break before things get done, and well, as soon as they are, I'll be joined by my friend who did end up joining me, Roger. You will be joining me here as soon as we get back from our break, so stay tuned, don't go anywhere, we'll be back.
Welcome back, guys, to the Esport Company Amateur League Grand Finals between the Annandale Aviators and Allentown Liberty. My name's Roger, and I'm here for maps 2 and 3, accompanied here by Power the Storm. Hoping you guys are all having a wonderful Monday night. And we are just about ready to get into this map 2 here on Chalet. Unfortunately, I did miss the first map, but I do know it did end 7-4 in favor of Annandale. So they are up in this best of 3 matchup for this grand final, and we're about to get our ban phase here as we get it underway.
Yep, Chalet is a pretty similar map in terms of bans. Typically, you see a lot of the same defender bans on pretty much all the maps, so that shouldn't be too surprising. But the attacker bans, you typically see a variety of them, although Thatcher is typically the operator that is consistently banned throughout all of them. But start things out, it's going to be Annandale banning the first operator, Thatcher. Again, not surprising, Thatcher just the best operator. I mentioned it previously on the previous map, although you weren't there, obviously. But just a very powerful operator all around. Almost nothing you can... Almost no reason for you not to ban him, so...
Yeah, pretty standard ban there. Thatcher being able to get all of those walls disabled from the from breach denial. We're seeing Jackal being banned. Interesting pick here from who was that? Allentown banning the Jackal. I'm not quite sure I would have done that. Chalet being one of those maps that it is quite big. However, it is easy to find the roamers and clear that out, especially if you have a well-planned attack. As now we do see Kaid being banned here. Great pick in my opinion here.
I have to agree with you. Kaid getting banned just makes sense because he is so powerful, especially in being able to take care of hatches, making sure that those stay closed, as well as just the versatility of where you can put his claw means it's very difficult for players on defense, or excuse me, on attack, to get rid of claws when they are able to actually players that are able to actually get open walls into some of the sites. But Valkyrie getting banned is not too surprising. We saw Valkyrie be played a lot in the previous map, and so well, because of that, no surprise, at least coming out on my end, as to why Allentown did decide to ban them as the final operator. The intel they can provide is so useful, and well, not going to be on the board anymore. So now, with the round getting underway proper, we're going to see, it looks like Master Bedroom and Office being the first site that's being opted to go to by the players on the side of Annandale, as they are defending first, and seeing a couple of interesting operators being brought out, at least for the moment.
Yeah, we're seeing Malusi and Aruni both being brought out, as well as Legion Jaeger, plus the Rook himself. Aruni, I feel, is a really strong operator, especially for Master Bedroom, being able to cut off a couple of entryways towards the sites, including that big double door coming from Blue Hallway, and then the doors and windows from the Solarium area there by the stairs as well. So good kind of choke points there. And then she's also able to make the rotates and good peaks that we like to see here on this site here, as we do see Biddy setting down that Banshee on top of Piano. Always a smart idea to have that there. But get too close to it and you can take it out quite easily. As they are going through this setup here, unfortunately we have a little bit of a lag issue, but it seems to have cleared up. Nice, interesting impact there, getting visual onto that window. I actually haven't thought of that one quite yet, but now I have that idea for next time I go into a ranked match.
One thing worth pointing out is we are seeing Blue Flame playing on the Rook, and Blue Flame was one of the more aggressive roamers on the previous map that we saw from Annandale, so them deciding to play an operator traditionally known for anchoring in the site is a bit interesting. But at least for the moment, we are seeing them currently holding a very nice angle onto an outside window onto the main balcony. So at least for the moment, it might be the case that they are just trying to play an aggressive style of Rook, something I personally haven't seen in quite a long time. And well, it hasn't worked out for them in the moment, but the potential is still there for them to pop off and carry their team to victory, similar to what they did in the previous round. Although that being said, there were other players on the side of Annandale that were able to keep up with them in terms of kills. So not exactly a solo carry, but still a very great performance from them in that round, or in that previous map. We'll have to see if they are able to live up to expectations in this one, or if unfortunately it'll be time for Allentown or other players on Annandale to shine and open things up. Tags Titan going to be the one to kill Spree and do quite a bit of damage on Howard the Duck in the process. The Blue Flame is going to open things up again by killing Jay. Already 2 players down for Allentown, and Tags makes it 3, getting a double kill, killing Pufferfish Boy. And with that, only Howard the Duck, and I was about to say Rix, but Tag gets a triple, killing Rix and leaving things down to a 5v1. A potential flawless round to start things out would be amazing, as it happens with Beatty getting the final kill of this round after we just see, well, the final remaining player on that attacking side just push into library. There's nothing else left really to do, and
Yeah,
with that,
and
that round is going to go their way.
and Annandale getting very, very aggressive in that first round, trying to make sure they get that first round win and start their momentum towards their win here in the grand finals. Interestingly enough, we did see a rotation put on the close side of the double window and master, and I'm kind of questioning that. Normally, you want to see the rotation put on the right side. You have a nice long angle from the master bedroom, holding behind the bed away from that double window. And especially if someone is on that double window, like we saw the Twitch, you do have that long angle into office, which could be detrimental if played correctly. Luckily enough for Annandale, it didn't happen. They managed to get the Twitch off the window as quickly as possible, and they got the round playing very aggressively, as I mentioned before. And going into round 2, we are going to be going into the basement, wine cellar, and snowmobile garage. And this, where we mentioned, as most of us know, where Thatcher comes into play very heavily. But luckily enough for Annandale, they've decided to ban the Thatcher here.
And while we are seeing Blue Flame go back to the operator that they played very heavily on the previous map, that being Oryx, them being brought out, is definitely an interesting choice. I mentioned the previous round. It didn't exactly not work out for them, as we do know the MP5, or excuse me, I forgot the name of the gun. They used to have the MP5, however, they since haven't switched out. So that gun is definitely very strong, and so them having it on the board, well, it does allow them to potentially get a little bit aggressive here. And we are seeing them once again peeking that Mez window, trying to maybe get a kill, but everyone seems to not be peeking it. They're crouching, they're making sure no one can die from it. As well, we saw last round in particular, a lot, and I mean a lot of damage was done via spawn peaks or just runouts coming in from both sides in particular. So with this basement site being picked, we are of course seeing the Maverick being brought out to try to get open this wall, and well, at least for the moment they have slowed down for a second, but surely in a second they will proceed to make their way through. But it's free to get taken out by Tags Titan with a very aggressive peek out through that hole in the wall, and well, Annandale once again have the man advantage.
Yeah, we didn't see a mute or a bandit being brought out to take care of that wall. So very easy for the Maverick to get up there. Unfortunate for Spree, who was looking for an easy pick, but it wasn't quite going to happen. Now we see some shots coming out from the long hallway. Puffer looking to pick up a kill. I do believe that's Blue Flamed over there. Excuse me, that's Luco who's peeking that long hallway. Or excuse me, no, it is Tags, but he's going to get taken down by Puffer. Great double kill. They're opening kills for the attacking side here now. And Blue Flame starting to make his way back towards that main hallway, down by the stairs, trying to make sure he can get that refrag if need be. However, there is the Finka, and she's going to boost right away before the push. Looks like Jay is going to be pushing in there while the nade comes out, but it's not going to connect, as there is an ADS inside the doorway, and a great run in there from the Oryx of Blue Flame. Now we see Luco coming down the main stairs, Nova taking plenty of damage, and Howard starting to make his way around to the main stairs here on Chalet. Nova looking for the tight angle to get a peek. I'm not quite sure who's he's fighting with. I do believe that is the Sledge over there, along with the Finka, and now Luca waiting as Blue Flame gets another 2 picks here on to Howard and Rix. And now Blue looking for that final kill, or excuse me, the final 2. As he does have the diffuser, going to be taking down Puffer as he gets the triple kill. Now Jay left in a 1v2 and making his way now around the other way. He has no way to get to the diffuser and is on very low health. However, Luco is down, so he is technically in a 1v1, unless Luco, who does get picked up, is now on 20 health. Nova moving over towards the main wall here and waiting for someone to come down the main stairs, but unfortunately Jay isn't going to be there. But he will spot the Legion, but it's not going to be enough, as Luco does manage to pick up that final kill and pick up that second round win.
Very nice flick there at the end from the Legion to be able to get that kill and use the intel very effectively to get that frag. Of course, we do know that the final remaining player in Allentown was very low HP, but that could have very easily gone their way if they were able to hit their shots. And well, with that, Annandale are able to pick up another round on the board. This time going down to basement worked out pretty well for them, although typically you do see that being not the most popular site when it comes to this map particular. But now it's Bar Gaming is the tertiary site that Annandale are going to choose to go to on this map. Personally, is one of my favorite sites to defend. I think if you play it correctly, it is really good. But and obviously, they do decide to bring it out third, which at very least they are still playing it. Enjoyable for me at the very least to see. And well, with that being the case, we're going to see a couple of operators that we have seen previously. Of course, Blue Flame going to be playing their signature OR to this point, but also the Mira not being banned at this map will be on the board, and Mira is quite simply one of the most powerful operators when it comes to this site, as the amount of control she can give you from bar and stock in particular is just unparalleled. On top of that, she's very good for helping to hold the mez hallway upstairs and allow players to very easily hold back into library if they so choose. The possibilities are endless when it comes to Mira, and so her being on the board that adds even more potential for them to win. But that's not they're going to be putting it there, actually. They're going to be putting it in the bar proper, allowing them to see even more into the actual game site or gaming site. So looks like they're going to be playing aggressively inside of library as potential for them to end up actually winning out these rounds. But it's really on Allentown to change up their strategy, and maybe what they really need to make it work is this Monty.
Yeah, could be a good play here from Jay bringing the Monty. However, tags will get taken out very quickly, and there goes the Mira. Interestingly enough, we didn't see a castle being brought out to kind of cover that door for the Mira to play behind the bar and watching that window, but we do have most of our attackers pushing upstairs, waiting to get a couple kills. We see Luco holding that window, a nice tight angle, unfortunately missing his shots onto, I believe that was Spree, as the drones start to come out. Luco now waiting for this other window to be popped, as we see Goyo as well up on top of that mezzanine and waiting for the Monty of Jade to walk into sight. Spree's going to take a little bit of damage here as he's starting to get into that fight with the Goyo of Biddy, and now we're watching actually that Twitch on the balcony outside. We see Blue Flamed waiting for a drone to activate, as Rix is going to get that kill onto Luco, holding that library window on top of Blue Stairs, and Monty going to push over now as well. Spree making his way into the map as well now, and Howard doing the same, just getting a quick reload, and a great shot there from Jay with the pistol onto Biddy. But Nova's going to get the refrag onto Spree, and now we're left in a 2v4 in Allentown's favor, as Blue is waiting patiently to kill Howard. I'm not quite sure why he was waiting there. He was in a very good spot, as he's going to be taken down by Puffer now, and Puffer's going to be able to retrieve that diffuser, now leaving Nova in a 1v3.
Things not looking good for Annandale in this round, all up to Nova to potentially win this one out. And, well, it looks like Allentown are going to take advantage of the time they have. Again, solid minute left on the time bank. They're going to be able to just drone things down. That's what they're doing right now. We're seeing Jay try to drone out, get the intel onto their final remaining player on the side of Annandale, and they do find that they now know they are deep inside of the bar site itself. And while they did end up rotating the other side, so they may be potential for the kill to happen, the hatch is going to get open, which will startle them quite heavily, but at least for the moment, no one's really pushing there. They're on a rotate onto the hallway, as we're going to see the final remaining players on Allentown push in from the fireplace, trying to then get a bit of pressure into the site itself, but it looks like they don't know where Nova is. Nova's gone ahead and rotate up the up the library stairs, and Rix is still up there and is going to be able to remove the head of the final player. And with that, a 3-0 round is going to go the way of the attackers for their first round win of this map.
Yeah, really good idea to leave the Twitch upstairs, waiting for that rotation, trying to get a peek through the hatch. Unfortunately, for the two that did go downstairs, the alibi was making their way up the blue stairs, and Twitch was just there ready to secure the kill. And it was actually a great flick on the Twitch's part there by Rix, as now we move back to Master in Bedroom for this round number 4. And we're going to see a little bit of a change up here, as now we are going to see the mute being brought out. The Legion's going to be 6 picked off for a Jaeger, and I wonder how this is going to work out for our defenders here of Annandale. They I feel like the Legion was definitely a better call. However, the ADS is definitely going to be it's going to be important for Annandale, as we've seen Allentown starting to throw in grenades and really making use of their throwables.
Now we are seeing Ella being brought, which is a bit interesting as Ella does bring another deployable shield, which can, or the only deployable shield, we don't see a smoke or anything else on the board for Annandale. And while that recoil on the Scorpion can be potentially difficult to control, it's not exactly the best gun, even if you are controlling the recoil. So, and that gadget, while it can be useful, again, I wouldn't call it the most useful gadget in the world. So, a bit curious as to why they brought it. Again, the deployable is very strong, so that could just be it, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see if it does end up working out for Blue Flame as opposed to their titular Oryx, and they are able to actually win rounds, actually able to win this round because just the fragment power that is provided to them by the Scorpion. And nonetheless, we are going to see now Allentown start to make their way into the site proper. Spree pushing in from the bar, rotating into Fireplace to try to maybe push out anyone who might be rotating a bit aggressively onto the Mez balcony. At least so far, it doesn't seem to have caught anyone. No one's really playing a bit too aggro. Apart from there is one player playing by the library stairs, which might potentially cause a little bit of issue for them, but for a moment they have been droned out. The Spree has made their way all the way up Mez and will actually get the kill onto Nova, who did decide to swing on the Mez balcony and unfortunately got punished for it. Jay's turn to fire back, as well as Luca was going to go ahead and go down. The attacking team has been able to pick up the momentum really heavily so far, as only a minute and 10 off the time was already 2 players down for Annandale.
Yeah, really good entry there by the Ash of Spree, who's going to stay alive here as Puffer goes and gets tagged. But then Sprees will be taken down by Blue, but Puffer's going to get that refrag. And Biddy holding a nice angle towards the doors here, trying to take the pressure off as the ace comes off of that wall and going to deal some damage to the Twitch, but it's not going to be enough as he will get Jay, but Biddy left in 1v3 now. It has a lot of pressure on him. The attackers are aware that Biddy is in the office, but Biddy's going to get plenty of damage onto Puffer, but it won't be enough as Rix once again is there for cleanup and getting a great shot there onto that final defender.
Very nice work from Allentown. It almost looked a little bit dangerous there, as we did see the fire-remaining player on Annandale putting up a bit of a fight, but in the end, it wasn't enough. Allentown are able to win out that round, and they tie things up 2-2, very similar to what we saw, or what I saw, excuse me, in the previous map, where it was actually 2-2 before Annandale started running away with this, especially once the sides flipped. So obviously that is going to be the case in the future, or if unfortunately for the players on the side of Annandale, this isn't their map, and Allentown have their number. And well, back down to Wine Cellar and Snowmobile Garage, they are going to go, where once again we are seeing Blue Flame bring out the Ella. Again, aside from the deployable shield and maybe the gun, I'm not entirely sure what value you get from bringing the Ella that you don't get from bringing other operators that, in my opinion, is better on their own. I guess thinking about it a little bit more, you can get a bit of intel out of her gadget. But anyways, I don't want to talk about Ella anymore. I want to instead talk about the defense. We are seeing these that are from Annandale, as they are bringing the Thunderbird, we did see previously, but that will mean that a more, I'm guessing, central play style coupled with the Goyo shields to provide a little bit of cover for them, as well as the deployable being brought by Ella, will just make things easier for them to be able to actually hold this site and prevent anyone on Allentown from pushing in. As well, again, a 2-0 tear could potentially prove into much more if Annandale aren't able to stop it and stop it soon.
Yeah, to touch back real quick on bringing the Ella, it seems that Blue has a good handle on that Scorpion, being able to shoot a lot of bullets in a short amount of time, deal plenty of damage, as we all know. And if you can handle the recoil, as well as he's been doing so far, it will definitely be detrimental to Allentown's attack as we start to get this round underway. 30 seconds in already, and we're seeing Jay on drone on the top mezzanine here, waiting for someone to be up top, hoping that they can find someone and catch them out and catch them by surprise. Luckily for Annandale, no one is up there, so no one will be droned out, and the camera is going to be taken out very quick by the Ash of Spree, who, surprisingly enough, playing Ash only down to 3 kills now and on very, very low health, as Flames, unfortunately, is going to be taken out. And now Annandale left in a 4v5 to start off this round. Already 2 minutes, or excuse me, 1 minute gone. And Biddy waiting for a C4 throw to catch someone off guard here, as Nova's slowly making their way over towards the blue stairs. Knows someone is on the stairs. They're going to see the gun. There goes the Sledge, who's going to be down and then quickly cleaned up. And Nova making their way off of that position, try to change that up, make sure they're not getting refragged quickly, as Rix is going to be looking down these blue stairs. Not sure he knows that someone is on those blue stairs. He will take plenty of damage, will be taken out by Tags, who gets that refrag from Nova's death. And now in a 3v3 with 1:15 left on the clock, and Tags him back on site now, waiting for that push coming from Wine Cellar is what it looks like. However, Jay making their way over to the main stairs. Soft Breach going to hit that floor and potentially open up some vertical gameplay, as one of the Goyle shields gets taken out. The call out is made that Goyo is next to the garage door, so here comes the nade. There is no ADS right there, so it will go off, and Jay going to have plenty of health still to keep fighting that. Spree, however, is on a very, very low health, and unfortunately does not have a finger to back him up, as Titans is going to push over and get Jay. And now Allentown on the back foot, as Howard and Spree are left in a 2v3.
And with now 20 seconds left remaining, things are looking dangerous for the final remaining players in Allentown. Howard going to push downstairs, trying to get their first kill of this map. As well, we are now seeing Spree trying to make their way down as well. Next to them, we're seeing some shots being fired out. Howard taking a bit of damage, but no kills going either way. Spree goes down to Luco, and while Howard is able to get their kill, Tags is right there behind the trash can there to get the final kill of the round. And with that, the defenders are able to stop the momentum of the attacking team dead in their tracks down inside of that basement site. And well, with that is going to mean they have won both times they've gone down there. Very impressive stuff coming out from Annandale, but now they have to try to go back up to master bedroom and office and win up there once again. If they are able to, then that would mean a 4-2 half on Chalet could be in the card for Annandale, which is not normally seen. Typically, this is a pretty even map, or it's actually more attacker sided, but at least in this map so far, it's been more defender side, with Annandale taking these maps and, well, taking these rounds, and doing so in a pretty dominant fashion as well. They're sticking mostly with their same setup, but now, correct me if I'm wrong, we're seeing both an Ella and an Oryx being brought out for the defensive team. So this looks like a round that's going to be very heavy on the road.
Yeah, and we know already by that first round how aggressive Annandale likes to play. So 3 roamers out on the map here could spell disaster for Allentown if they aren't able to coordinate this attack the way they would like to. We do see the drones coming onto the map. One just squeaking by there and heading into the bathroom. Spree saving his drone's life there. And I would actually like to get a look once again at the site, see if they made that rotation the same way they did in the first round. I feel like it was an accident the way they did it in the first round, as it was put on the left side of the wall rather than the right, once again leaving the site exposed from the window. We will see the rotation. Blue is making from the closet back out into the piano hallway, and there is the rotation that we like to see, with the reinforcement on the left and a nice little jump hole through that right side, as plenty of damage going to be put onto Spree, and Luco taking some as well. Spree with that with Zophia's LMG, got to love that play. Honestly, the meta for that has just been so powerful in these last few months that we just see it all the time. Blue Flame going to get Howard very quickly. And there goes the ace, not going to be able to get that wall open on site as Luco is waiting for someone to come through these solarium windows, throws down that Goomine as you all saw, and Biddy now playing that Ella, waiting for someone to push them as well. Tags waiting though as well in piano, wanting someone to push the windows either in bathroom or in piano, as Spree is going to get Biddy and just catch them off guard here as he is on on about 50 health. Now 4v4 left with a minute and 45 seconds left on this clock.
Things so far pretty even between both these teams. Not a whole lot of action has happened, but still, a bit of damage has been done onto both sides. Minute 30 now, as we are seeing some shots being taken into the piano window from Spree, who currently is having a bit of trouble with their gadget, and also a bit of trouble with some ADSs. Both Pufferfish Boy and Spree are both experiencing the trouble of the ADSs as well, trying to hope to maybe clear out a little bit more. Pufferfish Boy actually ends up pushing in enough to get topped off by the Thunderbird gadget. Well, they were already full HP, so won't do too much for them, and neither will Spree and Jay, as both of them end up going down, but Rix is able to find Luco. Purvish Boy as well will end up going down to the gunfire of Tags Titan, leaving it all down to Rix, who does come in from Solarium, and while Blue Flame is right there to peek them and get a very nice headshot, securing the round for the defenders, and once again, defenders all day, all night. They'll secure that half in a 4-2 fashion. Another very dominant round coming out from them. And, well, now the sides are switching. Allentown, they got to bring this one back if they want to try to stay in this series, potentially win this grand finals, as it looks like they're going to head down to Wine Cellar and Snowmobile Garage for their first defensive round. Well, so far, that's been won by the defenders every single time. Let's see if Allentown are able to keep it up.
Yeah, I just want to quickly mention the shot from the Oryx all the way from the closet onto the office door in a very tight angle, and a great shot there onto whoever was playing the Nomad there. Just an absolute great shot. I don't think they were quite expecting someone to be there. We did see a couple shots come out, but it wasn't going to be enough as that shot did land from the closet. As now we move on to round 7. Annandale only needing 2 more rounds here to take this grand final away from Allentown. And we're going to see Bandit for the first time in Wine Cellar as Jay goes ahead and reinforces that red wall and chases after a drone quickly. We will more than likely be seeing some batteries being placed on the main wall. We do see Luco bringing the Maverick to try and deal with that, as well as a couple nades from the Iana and Sledge of Nova, or excuse me, of Blue and Nova, respectively, as now we actually aren't going to see any Bandit batteries being placed. However, there is a mute jammer, I did just realize, on that wall, and our attackers start to make their way onto the map.
Now, with them making their way onto the map proper, it does look like that they might not, try to put that much pressure onto the actual Snowmobile Garage wall itself. And instead, maybe try to push it from the backside. Although, as I say that, we're going to go and see Biddy getting a kill on the rappel as Luco gets the wall open, removing Pufferfish Boy. And with that, well, no C4 on the board for them. So hopefully, they place down all of their mute jammers as well, because be quite devastating. Although it might not matter, as Tags making their way in there with the Twitch drone is going to go ahead and just remove the bandit batteries that were on the wall. That, weren't really doing too much, and unfortunately they do jump into another one, and then they get killed by Rix, currently on the room all the way upstairs. And unfortunately with that, Tags Titan, the top frag for Annandale, going down. Although, as I say that, another kill going the way of Annandale. Make that 2 for Biddy, as they are able to kill both Spree and Jay, leaving things just down to Howard the Duck and Rix. Howard the Duck taking a bit of damage, will be able to heal a little bit, but Blue Flame goes down to Rix. Howard the Duck fires right back and is able to get a headshot kill on the Blue Flame, but now, unfortunately, isn't able to see Nova playing right behind their shield, and with that, that's going to be another round for the attackers. And Annandale, well, they just can't be stopped. Their momentum is staggering, as they are just taking it to Allentown, excuse me.
Yeah, very well played. And once again, we're seeing the aggressiveness of Allendale coming out in this this second half of Chalet. They really are showing that they want this grand final win. as we start to make our way into round 8 here. Defenders now defending on master bedroom and office. We're not going to see the Aruni, it seems like, but we will be seeing a Frost. First time we've seen Frost on this map, and in my opinion, it's actually a really good pick here. You have the 2 windows, excuse me, you have a total of what is that? 2, 3, 4, 5 windows that are directly in front of sight, and one of them being on site. So you could potentially Frost, as you see the Frost go ahead and lay down that first mat on piano, and then one in bathroom, and then the final probably on the solarium windows, as it tends to be quite standard, but we'll see what happens here as Puffer goes over to, excuse me, start that rotation. And once again, I'm questioning that rotation there. If you repel onto the double window in master, you have a very nice line of sight into the office. So that is something that they're going to have to look out for in case Allendale decides to repel up there.
Definitely an interesting operator. Personally, one of my favorite operators in the game, Frost is, but unfortunately, she's not the greatest when it comes to playtime, or when it comes to just the overall utility she brings to the game. But she could potentially be very valuable, especially like you mentioned, when it comes to defending this upstairs site. But at least for the moment, it doesn't seem like they're going to get much value, as at least for the moment, Biddy is pushing on to the office balcony and trying to get a little bit of damage onto players who might not have been expecting such a fast push. And they do get quite a bit of damage onto the Frost we just mentioned, Pufferfish, but they are going to be able to get healed up by those Kona stations, at the very least, not be near a death. And well, now the drone's going to be coming out from Annandale, trying to just get the intel onto the remaining players on the side of Allentown. And well, it seems like they've caught the location of Spree, who's currently playing back near those stairs, and it's going to be Blue Flame does end up getting the kill. Biddy as well, finally getting that kill that they've been trying to get from that office doorway, this time getting it on to Jay. Tags Titan, however, will also get Howard, but Rix is right behind Nova and will be able to take them out. But now Pufferfish Boy going down to Blue, leaving it all up to Rix, who will get 1 kill on to Titan, but still in a 3v1. Plenty potential for this to potentially still go their way, though, as there isn't a time left remaining, and they do have a bunch of time to rotate. And with Blue Flame going down, the potential is still there with a triple kill to their name. They have to get an ace to win out this round as Luco. They are going to get the Fuser down, get a little bit of extra HP from their own Kona station as they start rotating their way over towards Piano. But Luco, sitting on the diffuser, is going to be able to hold that angle and will be able to pick up Rix once they push out. And with that, another round on the board for Annandale will mean that it is now 6-2, and they're at match point.
Yeah, really well played there from Annandale. Luckily for them, they didn't have to use all of Finka's boosts, as we did see there were 2 left at the end of the round for that Finka, and it could have very easily gone a little bit worse for Allentown if Finka had boosted, and then Annandale getting a little more aggressive, as we will see Biddy bringing the Finka once again, Luco, Ash, Nova on Sledge, Blue Flamed on Zofia, and Tags Titan on Twitch, as Allentown once again going to try and defend master bedroom and office, this time bringing a smoke, but it seems it's going to be 6 picked off for a clash. I'm not sure if we've seen this in the first map, but this is the first time we're seeing clash here. So it seems that Allentown is trying to get a little extra defensive, maybe try to push off site with the clash and try to slow down every push. But in my opinion, there are better operators to play than Clash to slow down a push. You have Legion, you have Capcan, you have Frost, Cav. There's so many options for you over that Clash. But if he can play it well, more power to him.
Certain lays a lot of pressure onto the players in Allentown to be able to play around this clash and make it work. They are bringing out 2 of the 2 healing operators on defense, that being Doc and Thunderbird. That's a lot of healing that you're going to be bringing out here, and hopefully Spree won't be playing so aggressively that they will unfortunately end up dying and then not being able to utilize those heals. But typically we do see Docs just healing themselves, allowing them to play more aggressively, so it is obviously a bit of a give and take. You do want to play more aggressively so you can utilize them, but also at the same time, if you want to heal your teammates, you want to play more passively. So there's a bit more stuff you can do with it, but so far we've seen both Doc and Rook come out here. 2 operators you don't seemingly get played. We've seen been played during this map, which is at least I for one am very surprised. But if they are able to make it work, then by all means, I'm not gonna be facetious about it, so to speak. And well, with the round it going and getting underway proper, we're seeing a lot of drone work happen, trying to get rid of this clash, and no one seems to be playing around them to try and protect them, as they are currently playing a set of piano. Although to say that a lot of damage being taken right now as players are trying to play aggressive, and it's Rix open things up, and Spree goes down once again. Biddy taking them out, and now things 4v4 a minute off the time bank already. Biddy continuing to frag out, gets this kill onto Rix now, and I think things might be going downhill for the players on Allentown.
Yeah, really well played here by Puffer, taking only a little bit of damage here so far and being able to slow down that push as there is a minute and 48 seconds left on the clock. But Tags is going to get in and going to deal plenty of damage to the Goyo. Ends up not getting the kill, unfortunately, but Howard is on low health. He will be taken out very quickly by Luco. And now Puffer as a clash on 1 health in a 1v3, but it's not going to be enough at all, as the Twitch will go ahead and get that final kill, securing the win here. 7-2 on Chalet, and Annandale are your Esport Company Amateur League Grand Final winners. Well played to both teams. GG's. We hope you guys enjoyed that. And we will be seeing you in just a few minutes. I do believe we may be getting an interview here from no interview, I'm being told, excuse me. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that grand final. GG's, well played to Annandale, who are our TEC Amateur League champions. And we'll see you guys on the next one. My name's Roger, accompanied here by Power the Storm. Power, anything else you might want to say?
We do have some closing information to go ahead and give about. There is going to be the Esports Company Amateur League Valorant Grand Finals happening Friday starting at 6 p.m. So if you are interested in that, be sure to check that out. If you could do exclamation point socials in the chat, you can go ahead and follow the Esports Company's socials and chat, as well as, if you want to go ahead and follow our socials at Power of the Storm, where you can do exclamation point casters in the chat to go ahead and see that if you like. And well, I'm sure you can find that for Roger as well. So with that, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure to cast. Thank you so much for joining me for the second map, Roger. And well, with that, should
Anytime.
be should be anything that's left. Thank you guys once again. Have a good night.